Saturday, May the 31st, last day of May. Tomorrow starts June. Can you believe we're already going to be halfway through the year? This year is flying way, way too fast. Um, for those of you who don't know, I recently purchased this one, the Granny Square Flowers, and I've already made the first square. It's called a calendula. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Um, it is this one. It's called a calendula. I know it's backwards for you. I apologize. I did have a little video on doing that one. Now, while I gotta get my, I know I gotta get my YouTube thing updated. I need to put more videos. I gotta make a separate area for that one, which I will. And at the same time, we have been making squares. Wait a minute, the box is getting fits. Okay, there we go. We have been making squares from the regular Granny Square card deck. And we have started with just the regular Granny Square. We have this one. Net. This one. This one. Little Christmassy colored one. This one is 2 colors. And this last one was 4 colors. We had to keep changing colors every time we got to another side. We had to keep changing colors. That was interesting. And for these two, for these last two, I actually had to go to another book. I mean, it has instructions in here on how to do those last two, but it was kind of confusing for me. So I went to one of my books I have to help figure it out. Now, we're not done with all of these yet. We've only made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. 8 out of 50. So we're getting there. And we've just started one of those. That was 1 out of 50. So we're getting there too. And of course, if you've been on my channel long enough, you know that we have been learning how to do various stitches, and I am stuck on a stitch right now. I will have to go on YouTube to figure this out because the directions that are in the booklet, and if you get this, like I got this from the bookstore. Oh yeah. Was I'm on my next one is the thermal stitch. And I'm just having all kinds of issues trying to figure out how to do this, even after reading the book. Hello, Moonrose. Hello, Carrie Peterson. Woohoo! Because the special stitches are the starting thermal stitch, and then there's a thermal stitch, and then a closing thermal stitch. So in order to learn the thermal stitch, you got to learn 3 other stitches to make the thermal stitch. Now, if that isn't confusing enough. I mean, it looks nice. And it's only got, for the instructions, 3 rows and then a final row. But it's just, the instructions are just not making sense to me. But, so I'm going to have to look. Oh, and in this, it's from the Bella Coco's Crochet Stitch card deck. And they do have stitch conversions for both US and the UK, as well as hook sizes. Always very helpful. And just to give a recap of all the stitches we haven't learned all of them yet. We're almost, we are almost done with the simple stitch combinations. We only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left of the simple stitch combinations. And then we have these yellow ones that are the textured stitches. So we still haven't those yet. But we do have gone through quite a bit of them. The ones we have learned so far. Is the linen. We started with the linen stitch. Then it goes to ripple. Of course, with the ripple, you can make a blanket out of just one color, 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, however you would like. Primrose. Houndstooth, which a lot of people like. Shell stitch. Of course, there are many ways to do the shell stitch. I prefer to do the shell stitch as sometimes as a border on a blanket, or you can use shell stitches or a lot within a blanket. Granny stripe. Oh, I was having fun with this one. Not only did I show you how to make the granny stripe, but I did like a separate video where I was comparing the granny stripe to a granny square and the differences. That video is in there somewhere. I do have that video. Grit. Brick. There was a video I was watching today. One of the other people that I do watch, I think she's from Australia. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was literally making a brick wall, using the brick stitch to make a brick wall because she was going to be making, let's see, had like a brick wall and like the columns, and it was like really cool looking, like old time things. It was really cool. But anyway, herringbone double crochet. The Suzette. Rolling waves. Eyelets are actually kind of pretty. Block. Little fans. V-stitch. We use V-stitch a lot in Granny's. Side saddle. Side saddle. I thought that was a funny name because side saddle is thinking of something that you would do on a horse, like sitting side saddle or something. I don't know. Lark's foot. Whoop, and I'm dropping my cards. Excuse me. Yep, lark's foot. Bead. Sturdy mesh. Filet crochet. There's a lot of different patterns you can use to make a filet crochet. I've actually done a filet crochet. I don't know what I did with it. There was one where I made this really big cross, and I used that as the center, and then I kind of made the blanket around that filet crocheted cross. I don't know what I did with it right now. Oh, and then colander. I thought that was kind of neat, funny, because usually I think of colander, I think of more like a colander, like a sifter, like you'd use to put your pasta in to sift the water off the pasta. That's a colander to me. But that's neither here nor there. But if you do get this set, make sure you hang on to this booklet and refer to it, because it does tell you to refer to such and such page for special stitches. So this is very, very important. Don't lose it. Now, Where did it move to? Oh, there it is. This I've showed before in a recent video. This is one of my newer purchases from Half Price Books. And it says Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook, 50 motifs, 10 projects, one of a kind results. And I've already did a video showing you how to make this motif, which is called Puddles Gather Rain. And with this book, what it does, not only does it show you, okay, like Puddles Gather Rain, here's what it looks like. Here's, this version of it. There's the instructions, but it will also show you other motifs that go with it in order that complement it to make your blanket. Whether you want to, like, in the back of this book, here we go. Afghans on the go. They have, and they also show you the beginning of this book, fillers. Okay, this first one is reflected sunlight. Okay, that's called reflective sunlight. And then in the front of the book, they show you how to do all the fill-ins to help fill in between each of the motifs. They explain how you would fill in. And if you wanted to, like this one, there's trillions of triangles. Again, they had to fill in, and then they put on a border. So and I mean, there are lots of, there are about 4 or 5 different blankets in here, and each one is basically just one motif. But like I said, with each of these motifs, and they've got them broken down. Let me find the correct page. You're gonna give me a sec. They do give a stitch glossary for if you like the grid kind. But sometimes that does help. And of course, they give general instructions on how to do various stitches. That's not the page I'm looking for. Give me a minute. Isn't it always like that? Whenever you're trying to find something, you can't find it. And when you don't want it, you find it. That's how it always is. But I know it breaks it down. This book, oh, wait, nope. Oh, here's another thing too. Like the first one is squares. It shows you three different ways you can do the squares. You either do it like this, like that, or like that. And you go to make the blanket. For rectangles, here's the next section. You can make it in either of these fashions. They at least give you some ideas. Triangles. Carrie, the book is called Go Crochet Afghan Design Workbook. It's by Ellen Gormley, Gormley. 50 motifs, 10 projects, one of a kind results. And like I said, I bought this one at Half Price Books. And it is a spiral bound book. So it will lay flat on the table. And which makes it a lot easier so that when you are making each of the motifs. Um, the octagon. Um, and it tells you to fill the border gaps with triangles. Leave border gaps to create additional textures and edgings. Fill gaps. You can fill the gaps with squares and triangles in the in between here. That way you don't have all that. You don't have just a space. You've got a filler. This is a really, really smart book. Here's the hexagons. Again, it will tell you how to do, shows you how to do, tells you to do triangles for fillers. Whoever created this book, you're welcome, Carrie. This is a really, really smart book, in my opinion. And for each of the shapes, they give several several motifs. Like I said, this one is, and we're going to be going through this book one at a time. And it just started with the square, and this one was the rain one. So we just started in this book. So we're going to have some fun with that. That is handy. It does have a nice little stitch glossary. What each of the symbols mean. And then, like most crochet books, it does have a few pages of various crochet stitches, like easier crochet stitches, like just singles, doubles, trebles, popcorn, clusters, front post, front post, back post, little things like that. Talking about complementing colors, color placement, layout of motifs, and fill-ins. Oh, and then assembly. Somebody asked me about assembly. It says the method of assembly can move a blanket from average to extraordinary. There are several different standard methods, but you should feel free to invent your own. And these are the examples that they give. The first one is just a whip stitch. The second one is crochet. Third one is join as you go. And the last one is a mattress stitch. And not only to give the definition of these, but they do give a picture of what that kind of looks like. Of what that kind of looks like for that. And of course, I said there's the definitions of what those joinings are. And they talk about how to do the edging. I'm going to put an edge on it, like an edge or a border. So this was, I really love this. I love this book. Now, when I price on this one for half price book was only $12.49. And let's see, curious. Oh, on the back of the book, when this was bought brand new, it was here in the U.S. $24.99, $25. You know what? If I saw this at a bookstore, I probably would have paid the $25 just because it's really worth it. With all the instructions and all the how-tos and the showing of other motifs that they give you the instructions for one motif and tell you other motifs that go with it. Like if you wanted to mix and match motifs to make a blanket, or granted, you could probably just do a blanket or like a small throw with just all squares, all octagons, all rectangles, all triangles, or whatever. Or you can mix and match like they have here. Like I was showing you for each one, they have mix and match where you can use these are the other ones that complement it. And for each one of the motifs in the book, they do that. And that's just a really, really smart thing to do. I mean, they give you patterns for other blankets, but at the same time, you're welcome to create your own by making the different motifs. Um, ooh, I haven't gotten this far to the book yet. I just found something. Check this out. They. Let me see what this is. Motifs assembling. This is on this blanket. Okay, never mind. Oh, wait, well, maybe. I'm not understanding this page. Maybe it's the number of motifs and the kind of motifs, the hook size, and then how many. And it says make 3. Anyway, here's that page. I'm trying to figure out where it says number and motifs, hook, and make. I don't know if I can quite read that. Like for instance, the first one says number 1, 26, 65, motif, polka dot, hook is I, and then it says make 3. So I don't know if we're making so I don't understand if it's, I don't know, unless you wanted to make mix and match like all of them. That must be for this one. All call, skill level very advanced. Warning, are you... Must be like all of them, like a whole bunch of motifs put together. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. But for each of the blankets that they have in the back of this book, it does, they tell you which motif they use, how many, the edging, what size hooks. It's just a really thought out, really, oh. Really thought out on how to do it. What goes with what goes together. Yeah, it's all called skill level very, very advanced. This one uses, I think, all of them. This is warning. Are you ready to crochet throwdown for a crochet throwdown? This project incorporates at least one of every motif in the book. The assembly of this project is very advanced and will require a degree of crochet intuition. The general assembly techniques will be described, but there isn't enough room in this book to describe each join on each side of each motif. Swatching and blocking will be required to achieve consistent sizing among the 50 motifs. Do you have it in you? Go for it. I don't know that I have it in me to put them all together, but I don't know. I might give it a shot because I'm going to be making them all for you guys, so you know how to make them. So, but I do highly, highly recommend this book. I recommend this book. Um, I hope. Yeah, that would be a challenge to incorporate all 50 motifs. Yeah, it would. Well, here's another challenge I've kind of doing for myself is that when I get all of these done, which is there's 50 in the granny square. I was going to put all 50 of these together as one blanket, and all 50 of the flower ones together in another blanket. But hey, Zach's Craft. But I might put, after I put make the two together, maybe I'll put it together into one blanket or mix and match the two and make it into one big blanket. That would be literally 100 squares. And according to the instructions, these are actually, my squares are supposed to be 4x4, which is the size of these boxes. Here's the box. Here's my square. My squares are bigger than the box. But that's just because of my tension. And I did make sure that the flowered square is this, when I'm doing my tension, that it is the same size. Like here's the granny, and here's the first flower one. So they are the same size. So at least my tension is the same. Now, the Go Crochet ones though, like here's the first one. This one's a lot smaller. So they're going to vary because they're all different motif. They're more of a motif and not all of them are going to be squares. Like there's going to be squares and rectangles and not, so then they're not going to be quite all the same sizes of the squares. But I'm going to put this in the same box that I'm keeping all my. I decided to keep everything in one container so I don't lose them. But I have them all in separate piles so I don't get them mixed up. So, and then of course, yes, they will. Thank you. Hello, Rosie. And hello to Carrie and to Zach and to everybody. Also, I still have my daily devotions, and we are using 365 days of kindness, and I read 3 every morning. Daily devotions for grandmothers. And this one a friend gave me years ago. The Illustrated Words of Jesus for Women. And this one is kind of fun for me because the kid in me likes to color. And so, excuse me. And so it does have on the side of the devotion a picture for you to color. And it gives you a place on the bottom to write in your own thing about it. Sometimes I even add a sticker like here. And when I talked about faith the other day, I put a big old faith, because it has the word faith muscle, but I found a faith sticker and made it really big. When we talked about doing the right thing, I use these foam letters. They're stickers, and some of them were stickers, some of them lost their stickiness, and I had to glue them on. But it says "Stand Strong." So that's kind of me. I like to color, I like to journal, and I use stickers and markers and crayons, and I'm a kid at heart sometimes. And of course, when I get done reading said devotions, I last year I found this in with some yarn, And so and it came with this little prayer. So when I get done with my devotions, I always read the prayer that goes with the said prayer square. Which reminds me, I know I've talked about this before. Because I have a separate bag that I have the yarn in to make these. And I made these a while back with some patterns I found on. I actually found that pattern on Pinterest. I had to go on Pinterest. This one I'm not quite as fond of because it was hard to do the cross in the center. I can't even tell now which end is up right now. And there's this one. Here's a bigger version of the one I usually do. I think it might be a little bigger. But here's my thing. Here's a little bitty one. Here's a smaller white one. We'll use this like little puff stitches. It's really big, and I don't know if you can see it, but it actually really puffs out. Trying to find the one there's one particular one I'm looking for, and I'm having trouble finding it. Doo-doo-doo. No. I did get 3x5 cards. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I saw one for this one. I have made a couple of those. And I'm going to, you can actually use this one as a bookmark. Or you can use it, not necessarily as a square, but you can just, you tie your card to it and put your prayer on there. But, because I already got some different colored 3x5 index cards to put the prayer on. And I got a hole punch. So I just got to punch a hole, put the prayer on there, punch a hole, and then tie it to that. And I want to just, leave them out in the public somewhere for somebody to see and read. Because I thought that was cool that I happened to find one and with the yarn that I bought from a thrift store somewhere. And I want somebody else to be able to find that by accident. Like maybe I'll leave it in a, in a grocery store on a shelf somewhere for somebody to find or something like that, I know I don't get to get down here very often. I've been kind of busy. I work second shift. I work from 1 afternoon to 9 at night, and then I have a daughter to take her to work every morning, and then my father doesn't drive anymore, so on my day off, I try to take him places where he needs to go because I have a brother that lives like 3 hours away from here, so I'm the only one who can take him anywhere and do anything. So I've been kind of busy. Um, I have recently showed you in my folders, in my notebooks. I think I don't remember which one of these notebooks I got it out of. It might have been out of this one. Oh, years ago, my daughter made me this title for it. It says, Hookers, Whips, Chains. And she tried to make the O's look like yarn. And then underneath the whips, it looks like a chain right underneath here. But she did write in real little letters, works in progress. But these notebooks I made for myself like a lifetime ago when I was sort of kind of seriously starting my crochet journey. And what I did was at my previous job, they had printers. The computer room was available to us, and I would go online and I would print off various projects, and I put them in sleeves and to make, like, one of the things I'm working on over there, I started working on, it was a tote bag. But I did, and I took like maybe like copies of pictures from library books. I was printing stuff from things online and putting them in here so I'd have something here to I can make. One of the things I just recently put out, sometime earlier this month, not that long ago. I just got was this headband. I just got to add, you can add the flower to it wherever you would like. But it's a nice little headband to wear. And you could also put some buttons in the center, some smaller buttons, or one big button in the center. And then place the, it wherever you would like to put on your headband. That was just a quick little project. Thank you, Carrie. Also, so thank you, Rosie. One, I know I think I've said about this before. One of my friends at work, she tried crocheting and she got frustrated with it, so she was like, "Here, have my yarn." So I'm taking the yarn that she gave me and using some of my yarn. And I took a pattern from on YouTube. Is one of them was called Vintage Crochet, and this particular pattern um, for the blanket, it's gonna take several rectangles to do this, but they're all in Tunisian crochet. And so, and this one, I'm trying to put these in the colors together. I gotta sew them together yet, but a lot of these are the yarns from her and from my friend at work, and I'm gonna get the rectangles all together, and I think it's gonna take about 20-30 squares. See how many do I have already? I'm already up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got about 12 for these squares or rectangles, whatever. And I'm trying to group them in their colors. I'm trying to use up as much of her yarn that she gave me as well as using some of mine. And like I said, I'm using Tunisian crochet to make the squares. And you put a border around the squares and then you sew them together and then make a border around the entire blanket. And then I'm going to give it to her as a way to say thank you. As a way to, as they say, pay it forward. Because, I believe that's the right thing to do. I mean, she was nice enough to just give the yarn to me. And so the way to pay it forward is to just, to make something out of it, to give it to her, and to surprise her with it. And she's a single mom, so I think her and her kids will just love it. As I was saying in somebody else's life, I am working on a secret project. Um, the Spoonie Stitcher and Critters Crochet this coming fall, and I should have written it down. I wish I had written it down. I know that there's a lot of us that are in this group that are and then they put us together in each in separate months, and then we show off our project, and then they're kind of saying who has the best project for that month. And for this year, the category is the 70s. Yeah, the 70s. I was born in the 70s, so this is perfect. And The project that I'm making is actually out of a book that was printed in the 70s. So that's even better. So not only is it a seven, so it'll be a 70s pattern from a 70s book. That's about all I could say. Um, but that's my secret. That's has been the 70s, and it could be anything. But I am looking forward to that. Um, oh, I know a lot of people are already. I know there are some people who are already starting to make blankets for the Boggy Creek Blanket Brigade. I think they start accepting blankets again. And you'll have to check the videos, but I think it's like in August or September they start collecting blankets again. There are several channels. They've mostly been going two different channels that have been showing off the blankets this last year. They did two channels that were showing off the blankets that were collecting them. But overall, there's usually like they switch it off and on between about six different channels. Is to who's doing the actual where everybody has to meet to go watch the live videos, and they do a live video once a week. Boggy Creek Blanket, Boggy Creek is a camp in Eustis, Florida, that is for that is free for the kids and the families for kids that have like terminal things, like they have like cancer, or they have various. Yes, they have various different things like of that kind of nature, and they get to do all the things that kids normally get to do at a normal camp, but it's only for that group that has just that. Like this group that just has cancer, this group that just has um. I know more about it, but my mind is just like drawing blanks, and I really deeply apologize. Um, like those that have asthma. It's only the kids that have asthma. If anybody who's diabetic, yeah, I mean, if I were to put it lightly, that's how I would put it. It's only they focus on for each week. They focus on one type of thing, but they still get to have fun that whole week. They get a homemade blanket from the people are who have been sending them out. There are other churches and groups that make. They're showing the videos these teddy bears, but those are sewn, like with cloth material, and made teddy bears. And I believe there's a pattern out for those. But here in the crochet world, we've been making the blankets, and don't. I do have the slices written down somewhere on paper, but I don't have it with me because I just happened to think about Boggy Creek. But if you go back and watch some of the videos, um, uh, they do tell you what size to make them, and if you're gonna make like a circle one, or they give you like a sweet spot for a square. Um, but if you're doing the rectangle, they tell you exactly what size, what width, and what length to make for each of the blankets. They do tell you though in the videos that if you do make it a little bigger, just because it won't go in the kids' beds, it doesn't mean that they won't be used. Sometimes they will give them to the staff there because they have a lot of nurses and doctors on hand. I mean, they actually have a separate building for in case something happens, and they can go into that doctor office and they will help them out. And these kids they get to go fishing, they get to go swimming, kayaking. They get to do all the things that kids normally do when they go to camp, and just have fun for that week. And that's just the most wonderful thing I get to thing. I really do. Um, let's see. I really need to start writing things down this year. That's all I can think of right now that I know all the information for. Like I know K and K Crochet. I know they like to make hats, but I think their hats are for another thing that they do. I know the information, but I don't know the information. Like I could give you. little bits of it, tidbits of it, but I couldn't know all of it. See, everything pops in my head right when as I'm talking, and it's like all coming at me at one time. I apologize. Um, Now I lost my train of thought again. This morning I don't know why, but I had a lot of trouble speaking. It's like words were not coming out. I could not get words to cooperate with me this morning. Um, but I hope no worries. Yeah, we all have days like that. Um, Besides crocheting, I do like to loom knit, and I've showed it several times before over there on my S loom, and I really need to just get it off the loom because it is really long, and it's basically the way because it's on an S shaped loom, and the blanket is actually folded, comes down kind of folded in half, so it's actually pretty wide and pretty long. Like if I stood up, it goes from my chest down to my feet. I'm like 5'2". This is a pretty big blanket. Um, oh, I will say I do have 450 subscribers, so I'm not at the. I'm still trying to get the initial 500. I've yet to get there, but I would love to get to at least the first 500. I do need more watch hours. I need way more hours out there, folks. So like, comment, subscribe, all those kind of fun goodies when you watch my videos. Tell everybody else out there about me. I'm just a little guy in a big pond compared to a lot of people out there. But I am trying my best. I am trying my best. Oh, I do have on Facebook, and I need to update that as well. I do have a Facebook group, also called Thrifty Crocheter. Um, I sort of have a Facebook page. What I did was several years ago, my church, we had a thrift store, and when our church moved, I had to close up the thrift store, and so I'm using um, the thrift stores page as my Thrifty Crocheters page, but I couldn't change. I could change as much as this Facebook would let me change, but there were parts of the of I could not change. Like it still kind of says it has the thrift store name in it. So I do sort of have a Facebook page, but I didn't make like a separate one because I didn't want to go through all that. I was trying to save not having to do a whole another separate page. I'm just trying to kind of consolidate, keep everything in one area so I don't have to remember where everything is at. um, Trying to think. Oh, something else that I have been doing recently, besides doing the devotions, some of you out there, as you are listening to the devotions, you have been uh, sending verses that pop up in your head and remind you because they remind you of certain verses. Like I have this whole page. Well, because I originally had them all on separate little note size pages and note size papers, and I was like, okay, enough of all the little note cards. I need to put them all on big pieces of notebook paper. And see, I still have some space on this side, and I still have the backs yet. So, in fact, I just read the other night. I just read for you Matthew 17:20, Proverbs 19:6, Deuteronomy 7:9, Daniel 1:7, Proverbs 24:13 and 14, and Romans 8:28. And then I also had last night. I was showing, yeah, the thing from Ephesians, because what was in um, that was in this book was also in one of my other Bibles, because I have several Bibles. That also has pages in it that you can color, and they had similar pictures, which was really cool. But it was talking about our armor of God, and then I had another book that had not only talking about the armor of God, but also talked about how to actually use the armor of God. And so that was my whole video, was about how to use the armor of God. Um, because I just felt that was just so very, very important thing to do. Um, so yeah, anytime you are listening to the devotions, if it makes you think of, any certain scriptures, then leave those in the comments, because I do keep track of them. I really do. I write them down, and then like after I get several of them, then I come back on here and I'm like, okay, it's reading time. And this last time I got out the Bible that has the pictures that you can color in it, but I usually like to use this particular Bible because it's getting because it's all in color, and the colors each mean something. Each color it goes with something else. Like there's discipleship, outreach, God, salvation, love, commandments, family, faith, prophecy, evil, sin, and history. That's what each of the colors mean. Which I think that's pretty cool. But it's getting kind of bent up because of where because it's in my basket. I'm calling this. I have a basket, I believe, where I'm keeping this Bible and my devotions and the prayer square, my little basket of belief back here behind the camera. Um, um, but like I said, oh, something something else I also occasionally like to do. I know it's a little bit childish, but I still like to make these little pot holders. Years ago, I actually put a bunch of them together to make a placemat. So you could always make them, put them together to make a placemat, or you can make like a little purse or a bag for like a little kid. Just some ideas, or even if you want to make a glasses case, put a couple of them together to make a glasses case, or fold it over there, and then there's your little glasses case. You know. Um, I've to go back to my videos. I have, like I said, I need to. Oh, I'm glad you think that they are useful. Because I actually do have some that I need to like I have on hand, and like I use like this one. This one was actually one of the kits. This was more of the nylon kind of thing, the kind of material. At least that's what I call them. And then there's this one, which if you're gonna make these, I would recommend using the metal ones. And if you're gonna buy the kits, they come with the plastic ones. And then plastic ones, if you are not careful, it break, and you could tell when they're going to break because on the plastic ones, because they will start to turn from whatever the color. They're usually purple or green. They'll start to turn white, and then the tooth will break, and then they'll be no good. So get the metal ones because those last really well. Um, but these are made of more of a wash washcloth, like a terry cloth kind of material, and it's easy to get these off. Then as you come around to get the last side off, then I usually get frustrated because that's when they all want to pop off, and that's the hard part, is try to get them and try to keep this last one on here. That's always the hard part. But I do still occasionally like to make those. Um, just because I need to do something different. You know, every once in a while, you just got to change things up. You know, try to keep things going. Um, okay. I have been on here for almost an hour. When I figure out how to do thermal stitch, I will show how to do the thermal stitch on here. And then we could be able to, the other way we can finish up the simple stitches and then go on to the next ones. Oh, another thing about these cards, real quick, is that when we get to the textured stitches, it does, in this circle here, kind of a blow up of what it looks like. So it makes it, so you can kind of see it a little bit easier. I haven't tried the thermal stitch yet. This, okay, let me find it. Like this, the one I was showing you on the yellow card, that's called a lace cluster. But the thermal stitch is this one. And the special stitches are the starting thermal, and then a thermal stitch, and then a closing thermal stitch. So you are running 3 stitches in one to make one stitch. So that's really, really confusing. At least for me. The ones we have left on the simple one are the spike, the double linen moss, chevron, arcade. No, I don't mean the games. Solomon's not. Actually, I have tried to do this a couple of times, and that was a little difficult. And then once we get done with all these simple stitches, then we'll go into the textured stitches. So we'll get through it. It's going to take us a while, but we will get through them. And when I do these, I'm not saving the swatch itself. What I do is I have a bigger hook than what yarn usually calls for. And when I get done making the swatch, then I just rip it out. And then I'm going to use the yarn on another project. But I am not frogging my squares. I am keeping my squares, and then I will put the squares together to make a blanket. And I am going to be keeping all my motifs. That's another thing I really want for you guys to go watch and see how to make all the motifs. I think you will have fun learning those to create some wonderful blankets. Have fun. Be kind. Be kind. I hit myself in the face. Be kind always. Please be kind always. Be kind. 365 days of the year. Always be kind. You know what? Since I end my devotions with a prayer square, I think I'm going to end the video with a prayer square. Well, thank you, Carrie. I haven't been live in a long time, and I was like, okay, I need to do this. I haven't done it in a really long time. Hi, Michelle. I just kind of do. I don't have scheduled lives like a lot of people have their scheduled lives. They're on such and such day at such and such time. I can't do that. My personal schedule doesn't allow for that. So I just kind of pop up when I can. So my lives are pop-up lives. So I do them when I can, when I have the time for them. And that's just me. Anyway, so to end this live, this small swatch of yarn has been woven with prayers. As you hold this swatch in your hand, may you feel God's strength, love, and peace flow and know that He holds you in His hands. May God bless and comfort you in time of need and give you peace. Wait, what did you say, Michelle? I've never done a live, but if I ever do it, it will be likely pop up. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. That's how I start. That's how I'm doing this. Because my personal schedule just does not. I can't just say, okay, my day is, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning, or, or it's every night at such at 7, at 10 o'clock, or, I just can't, because I don't know, I can't. My life is too hectic right now to have set times and set days to do it, like a lot of people do. Um, so, but I need more watch hours. So go back and watch the lives, watch my videos. I could use, for my first 500, I only need 50 more subscribers to get to 500. I'm at 450 subscribers, and I only need 50 more subscribers to get to the initial 500. So tell your friends. um, I've got a lot of all my videos from last year are still there. And yeah, I am. I'm getting close. I'm getting close to the initial 500, the first 500. I'm getting close. Um, like I said, I'm going to be making, since I figured out the thermal stitch, I'll make that, and then we'll get some more stitches done. We're going to get the granny squares done, some more motifs done. And then also, like last year, I showed you how, go back and watch my other videos where I showed how to make bracelets and um, scrunchies. Watch those. Those are there. And I will show you how to make some other little projects as well along the way, as well as everything else that I've already told you about. So just keep on watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and all the good stuff. Y'all have a good night now. Love y'all. Bye.